I am back. WITO Radio, the music you know, the station you love. Update a little bit. Once again, I will be interviewing Dr. Bill Dingus tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So stay tuned for that. He's going to let us know all the updates about all the things going on in Lawrence County. Also, right now I want to talk about Country Hearth. Everybody knows where that was. Up there, then it was called Noble Lodge. Those owners were from Paducah, Kentucky. That was in 2022, okay? So this was everybody knows it was a hotel years ago, and I'm not sure of all the hands it's been changed through or anything like that. That's none of my concern, but everybody knows the history of Country Hearth. And I was talking to a group of people that lived there back in years ago. There's no laundry service, okay? There's no nobody at the desk after 9 p.m., okay? So that would be a concern, right? So from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., there was somebody there. And then after 9 p.m., the doors were unlocked. Anybody could come and go and do whatever. No wonder people rented from there. But from what I understand, the rent was $200 a week. So if you want to go there and do whatever your demon is, meth, heroin, whatever, fentanyl, whatever, I think they kind of just, my opinion, I think they just left the doors unlocked to let whatever happen. As long as they got their rent money. Excuse me, my new addiction, Mountain Dew. But the stuff that went on there, everybody knows that. So here's the thing. $200 a week, really? And you know that, and everybody they feel like they have to have a safe place to go. I get that. I totally get that. I totally do. And I agree with that. And, a lot of people, their family doesn't necessarily get involved or try to intervene, or sometimes they're just praying for their kids or their loved ones to do better. And, that's a very difficult situation to put yourself in if you have to worry about your children. And like I said, always say, that it just meant for me not to have any. I would already have been in a lot of trouble. But anyway, so who owned this before the owners from Noble Lodge from Paducah, Kentucky? Who owned Country Hearth? And when did it go out of business? And who set it on fire, or was it an accident? And why has it not been torn down and been replaced? I'll be asking Dr. Dingus that on Tuesday, tomorrow. So I think it'd be more than helpful to tell us what things are going on with the chip plant and with the lithium plant here. And that way everything won't be misconstrued about, you'll get the facts straight from the horse's mouth, to say so, okay? So anyway, if you have a family member, okay, let's just go there. Let's go there, okay? If you have a family member that has an addiction to anything, you can be addicted to Mountain Dew, you can be addicted to heroin, you can be addicted to anything, Vicodin, hydrocodone. A lot of people that have injuries get addicted to that. I had surgery from on my shoulder. I got a plate from here to here. I've said it several times with 8 screws. I was on that, and I went to my doctor, and Dr. Leith, great orthopedic surgeon, and I said I can't take those anymore, because it, especially if you mix it with alcohol, and that was a big mistake. But a lot of people do that, and then they lose their job because of an injury, and then they fall into this category of being addicted to painkillers, and then we judge them for being a drug addict. So let's think about that first, okay, real quick. Let's think about that for a minute. Every family, there's not anybody that's perfect. Everybody has, and I'm not even going to say skeletons. Everybody has broken family issues, okay? I'm just saying, can you imagine worrying about your child at Country Hearth, and you don't know where they're at, or you know where they're at, but you don't know who they're with and what anybody's trying to do to them. And to leave that place unattended after 9 p.m. with the doors unlocked, whoever those owners were, you are liable for anybody that overdosed in that building because nobody was there to call anybody. So I'm going to call you out. I'll find out who you are. Maybe Mr. Dingus knows that, and I'm sure he'll be glad to tell me. I don't know how the acreage is on that. I don't know how much that is, but that's a good spot for something else. But when you go down through past South Point, that's really an eyesore there. Okay, and then what happened to the building? Where was that? What was that bar called? The Red Fox. Remember that? The Red Fox I think it was the Ramada Inn, and so I think there was another company there now. But the last time I went by there, and then correct me if I'm wrong, the last time I went by there, it was vacant. So I'm wondering why. I'm wondering why certain areas are being built up, and then other things are being neglected. Now, it may have been improved or updated since I've been that way. I don't drive much. When you drive a car for a living, you don't want to drive around, right? Okay, so anyway, also, I'm still trying to get a hold of the lady from Greenup, and I understand maybe she has her own, she's busy and all that. So I'll let her tell her story, and I'll share it whenever somebody can alert me to that. I'm not trying to take anything away from her or what she's talking about. So that's fine. Also, I'm going to repeat this number, 740-646-6059. If you want to talk to me, things are changing here. If you want to talk to me, you got to call that number first, okay? I talked to several people the other night, and they were frustrated because they had to go that route. But let me tell you something. I'm not getting paid to do this, okay? I'm not. It's paid programming, and I'm not getting paid to do what I'm doing here. I only get paid a certain way, and so I'm going to have to report that to the Social Security. Lord, we don't want them to call up Nashville and say, "Oh my gosh, she's hiding money." You know how they're doing, and I posted that thing on I shared it, people. I shared it. I seen it somewhere else, and I shared it. And the first thing I posted in the know, much respect for Julia Newkirk and much respect for the Cochran family. Everybody has different opinions. Posted that on there in the know. And that's why I don't go back on there much, because people they'll make up an avatar. I am who I am. I'm not ashamed to show my face. I'm not ashamed to say my real name. I'm not going to make up they called me Blonde Bomber in college because shooting from the logo back in the 80s before Caitlin Clark was even a thought. And I respect her. She's the GOAT. I just lived in a different era. But what I'm saying is, oh gosh, people, things are so different now. And so also, I'm going to give a shout out again to the doctor I went and seen today. He was so cool. Dr. Scott Henry over at VisionWorks. He was great. And on my YouTube videos, if you have watched, you can't see on the radio, but on my YouTube videos, if you watch, or my Facebook videos, I have an issue with my eye. And so I made an appointment to see them, and went over there, and I thought my pool was making it worse because of being in the water and stuff, but it's not. So I'm headed back out there. But it's just, people just assume so many things, and I'm sure I'm guilty of assuming things. But that's why I try to make sure everything's not just allegedly And if I'm not sure, I'll say allegedly before that. But I'm telling you, and I want to thank Brian Fowler and Fowler Media for doing Friday's show, because I'm having a hard time with this. What's really weird is that if your one eye's closed, it's hard to keep the other eye open. Try it yourself. Try it yourself right now. Try to keep one eye closed for a whole hour, and then try to keep the other eye open and see how you do it. All right. So if I'm if I'm faking that, boy, I'm talented, right? And why would I do that? So you people that are haters, keep on hating. You're still a fan. Okay. Anyway, so I'll also be talking about hoping to get an interview with some the people running for city council and what their thoughts are before they run, and I'll be covering that election that I was going to be in, but I'll be covering it for the radio station and hopefully covering it live down there. So stay tuned, and we'll keep you up to date on that. Also, the sign situation, sign contest. I'll know more facts about that. Like I said, it's hard to communicate. They're busy, and the sign contest. I'll tell you where to turn those in, or to send them a picture of it or whatever, to where you can go on 1230wito.com, and he has that. Brian has that on there. Brian Fowler has that on there on the WITO website. So check that out for information. Also, it's my understanding that the judging will be at Callahan's. I do not know who the judges will be. As far as I know, I'm not one of them. So, and I think that's a good idea. Oh, she picked her friend. Oh, she picked her cousin's sister's brother's uncle. That's how everybody thinks, right? But that's how it works, right? If you know somebody, hey, it's a shame people don't call you to talk to you. That they call you for a favor, but they won't call you and just say, hey, how you doing? And sometimes that includes even your own distant cousins or family or whatever. Also, can't wait for Iron Fighting Tiger football. Can't wait for Ohio State. So it's my understanding the first Iron Fighting Tiger football game is away. I listened to some of the games over there today, and I wanted to stop by there, and a bunch of kids playing ball. I think that's precious. And there's so many issues in Ironton and in Ashland and Huntington that we don't really ever think about. So it's really according to who you are and what you think about. Okay, so let's say you wear a suit today, and you got a briefcase, and you kiss your wife and kiss your kids, and you get in your Mercedes and you go to work. Now that would differ from somebody that is hopeless, and that is depressed, and that maybe lost a loved one and don't have food to give their kids. Now their whole outlook would be totally different, wouldn't it? Right? I don't think anybody took the Beth Risk challenge of feeding your kids just one bologna sandwich at 3 o'clock for 2 days in a row. That's a good practice. And see, die. Anyway, also, I try to do this every day. Like, everything I always thought I had to have. When I think about that now, I take one thing away. So if I used to have, I love fried potatoes, but I'm not going to sit and peel potatoes, cut them up, and do all that. I'm not doing it, Sally. I'm not doing it, Simon. I'm telling you, Otis, I am not doing that. Okay, so I love fried potatoes, but I don't have the patience to do it. It's relaxing. Me and Mama Risky sit on the porch, and my feet were just so short. I was about 4 out there, and she would string them beans, and she taught me how to do it. I still can't do it right, and I like cut green beans. I can't send those strings in them, but I like some half runners. I got some jarred in the basement. Thank you, Joyce. No, you guys, like I said the other night out by the pool, life is a vapor, and to hold any grudges, especially about politics or what happened 10 years ago, that's totally ridiculous. I don't care if somebody was mean to me. 20 years ago. I don't care what they said about me. And if somebody avoids you, most likely they owe you an apology, right? And that's happened to a lot of my past friends. And that's fine. I'm not expecting an apology I'm not talking about my eye. I'm talking about just anything. Also, let's touch base on Ora Ritchie Road. Issues out there. Mr. Massey's out there dozing, and I'm not saying he's asleep. I'm saying he's out there dozing, maybe a personal street. I'm not sure. I haven't got to talk to him yet. We want to explain the situation about that land, about the houses built there, who owns the land, who owns the homes, and why is it flooding down the street, which it did back when I was working. So there's a lot of drainage issues out there. Why are we not on that? And who's responsible for that? Who's the code enforcement officer? I don't know. I don't know. And I'm aware that Pam does that, and I'm sure if you reach out, she'll come by there. But from my understanding, the city council's been there to those homes, and the mayor. The mayor will not return my call. I've called 3 times and recorded each time I called. Last time put me on speakerphone, and I'm not going to bother with it. Let me just say one thing. Mayor Sam Cramlett will not return my calls for an interview, but yet he got elected by the people to run this city. So let that stick with you for just a minute. I don't know what he's ashamed of or afraid of. I told Connie, I love his mom. We've been friends forever. I told her, I said, I'm not going to bring up his past. I mean, yesterday can't hurt you anymore, right? So, but I did say, I just want to talk to him about the dispensary and about the possible jobs about it. And 3rd Street construction. I'm not going to put him on the spot about anything, but he don't want to interview. So that's okay. That's okay. I'll catch the next mayor. How's that? Do an interview with them. But anyway, it's okay. Anybody on city council, I've reached out to Nate. I've reached out to a couple others, and they won't return my call. I love Ralph Klein. I think he's great. I think Community Action is a great organization. I like Nate. I like them all, but nobody's going to go down to the city council meetings. And even I was on there for 12 years. Nobody would come down there, but they'd call and gripe about everything. But now you can watch it on Facebook live, okay? So here's the thing. The only time when I was on council was when the flooding problems down there in Sedgwick Meadows. That used to be a golf course, and now people call it Green Valley, but it was built on a swamp. All those homes were built on a swamp. That's why it floods. And then now, the only time they come to city council, the city makes it right. They just shut up about it. That's not a good thing. Is everybody else being taken care of? Or are you special? Are you special? Are you a special person? Paid for drains down there for years. Didn't have them. Everybody just paid it and didn't say a word. I sat on council. I couldn't stand it. That's why I retired in 2021, November 30th of 2021. Wrote the book. I could have ran again, but like I said, my one vote wasn't going to change anything. You know, especially now, after calling people out and stuff. And, you know, I told Jody the other day, I said, you know, I don't have to have a title. I don't have to have a badge or a sergeant stripes on my arms to have integrity, character, and honor. I don't need any of that. And I don't expect respect from everybody. Okay, I'm gonna say it one more time. I don't expect respect from everybody because you're not going to get it from people that have wronged you, but they blame you for what they did, and they have to be angry at you still. Because maybe a friend of theirs that don't like you, and people will recruit people to actually hate you. You know that they do that. I think there's even a group because we hate Beth Riston. And everybody sit and talk about it. If that's all you got to talk about, honey, I'm praying for you. I mean, I really am. And here's another thing. And let me switch gears here. A friend of mine today, I talked to her. I always say I skip around a lot, but she said, let me switch gears here. So shout out to you, honey. You know who you are. So I'm going to switch gears here. So let's talk about the Woodland Cemetery there. Okay, yes, I am on the board there. And yes, it's a historic, beautiful cemetery. And I want to thank the people I ran into today down at Pickin' on Pine with the compliments of how the cemetery looked. And you guys don't realize that it takes a lot. It takes a lot of everything, workers and cooperation. Christy Waybright, amazing. She's the caretaker down there, and of course Bob Clary and Randy Wise and myself are on the board. So, but Christy Waybright, don't call down there and disrespect her. That's not a good thing. She does great. I mean, somebody will call me and I can call her and she says I'll check it out right now. But the one of the things there, it's hard to keep workers down there, right? And we do, and I'm going to say it. It's nothing negative. We do get a lot of recovery people. And they hire them, and Christy does, and I think that's great. But some people walk off the job after about a couple hours, and then we don't know. We can't keep track of all of that. And I mean, so anybody hardworking that wants a job. Cutting grass, or, taking care of the Woodland Cemetery, reach out to me, okay? And I'll make sure you're really wanting a job. Reach out to me, and I'll tell you what to do about getting an application to work at the cemetery. We have the equipment, and but like I said, we have a lot of people that walk off of the job. And if I help you get a job down there and you walk off, that's not a good thing. But, I mean, I'm still trying to help, right? But anyway, so, excuse me, Mountain Dew. Anyway, so, okay, we covered that. Let's switch gears again. Yeah, I do skip around a lot. I think it's a puzzle. You got to stay with me. You never know what I'm going to say. That's, who wants to say, I mean, I've been told you need to say what you're going to talk about and say it. Well, and someone said, if you would hashtag every single thing you post about on TikTok, about your dogs, or hashtag everything and title everything on your Facebook and hashtag, you know what? I don't have time for that. I don't care how many views I get. I really don't. I never said like and subscribe on my YouTube, and I mentioned that about a week or so ago. You can like and subscribe if you want to, but it's not going to break my heart if you don't, okay? But I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. It's just not in me. I'm not going to say it. I don't have to beg people to be around me or to agree or disagree with me. I don't have to beg people to be my friend. So, and I'm not going to. Let's switch gears here. Thanks, Linda. Anyway, what in the world about the sheriff's auction? When's the next sheriff's auction? And what's on the auction block there about that? And they talk about the IPD, the impound down there. And we'll be discussing the updates on now. Back when I worked, it used to be you'd bid on each month that you wanted to have. And then I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, but I did have certain tow drivers that were good to me. Mr. Kuhn, I loved him. And I loved his family. He was always so kind to me, and oh my gosh, I just recently talked to his wife, and he passed, and I'm trying to think of it. But, it's how you interact with everybody. And, people are going to say this and that. Everybody has their favorites on anybody. Their favorite ice cream, their favorite place to eat, their favorite police officer, their favorite firefighter, their favorite teacher, their favorite coach, their favorite store, their favorite shoes. I mean, Nike, Adidas, whatever. I seen a little girl over today, and I thought it was precious. And I'm going to mention it. I don't know who she was. Shirley took me to the eye doctor over there, and she had on a blue dress with little flowers on it, and then she had no socks on, no, and had on some black Converses. Now, I want to give kudos to whoever that parent was for letting her be who she wants to be, okay? Don't try to make your kids something they don't want to be. Let them be themselves. That's a lot of the problem in this world, I think. you're going to do this and you're going to do that. Now, I'm not contradicting myself. Like I said the other day, I ate what was on my plate, and I wore what was laid out for me to wear, and I did not make a fuss about it. And now, I don't know who I was talking to today. I think it was Ralph down there at Tailgaters. And I said, that belt buckle hurt, didn't it? That they just grab your arm and bust you with the belt. Now, and they told you to pick a switch. You picked the biggest one, or you'd get double the whammy. And these kids, like I said earlier, I think the timeout generation has no bearing on the whoop-ass generation, because you didn't disrespect anybody, elderly, or anybody older than you. It was yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And I could just look at my mother cross-eyed and boom. And now call 911. That's what's making them do this right now. They got the freedom to do that. So the laws are a little bit misconstrued. And I'm just saying that there's a lot of parents out there guilty of harming their kids. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, okay? I'm just saying that the main thing is that we be aware of it. That's simply what I'm saying. Let's just be aware of it, okay? And then it'll be fine. Awareness is key. And just like I'm hoping to get a return call from some people at the school board about, like I said, there's grants for the metal detectors. There's $11 million worth of grants. It's first come, first serve. So Ironton, South Point, Chesapeake, anybody out there that's got metal detectors at their school, first I would like to know. I think that just knowing that will keep kids from bringing stuff into school. I'm telling you what, especially kids that you got to be aware of your surroundings. I know teachers are. I know they're taught that. You got to be aware of your surroundings. Somebody that's being bullied or somebody that is bullying somebody, like I said, that can go from kindergarten all the way to nursing home. Teachers cannot be the bodyguards of all of your kids, and teachers are not paid to get hurt at school. They're paid to teach, and whatever they're told to teach now. And I think that's a very big issue. I want to bring that up too. And in the round table on Thursday, like I said earlier, I've got Coach Jen Keatley from South Point. She's got a softball field named after her. Coach Keatley from South Point. Who doesn't love her? I've got Coach Doris Hannon that coached me in basketball at Arnton High School. I've got Jolinda Hall. Her son's on the school board. We go way back, went to school together, and we have a history in the past of a situation, and I'm so glad that I was there. And this is going to be really intense. She just retired nursing, and so we're going to be just talking about, I'm not going to be talking about anything. I bet you're like, oh my God, thank you, Jesus. But no, it's just going to be about 5 women sitting there talking about life and what they endured in their personal job, okay? And in their life, period. I'm telling you what, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Being a homemaker, if you work and you've got kids and you've got to work all day and cook when you get home and do laundry, and by the time you get to bed, you got to get back up and cook breakfast. I can't do it. I can't manage my own kitchen. There ain't nobody here. But the dogs, they're a handful. But anyway, I just think that we all need to sit back and think about maybe a possibility of there being a different perspective about anything that we think about. You ever just sit and think, well, I'm open-minded. I'll hear somebody out and then I'll just say, you can ask any of my close friends, I'll just say, I don't agree with that, or I do agree with that. So also, I want a man and a woman, married couple. I want a couple that disagrees on politics. And I want to sit down and talk with them. I want to do that, please. I would really enjoy that. Just let them talk. But I'm telling you what, a lot of tendency, allegedly, a lot of tendencies, you can look it up, and statistically, women will tell their husbands they're going to vote for a certain person just to keep them from being yelling out at him. But you can't change a person's vote once they get in that booth, right? I don't think your husband's going to be looking over your shoulder to see who you vote for. So keep that in mind also. And be talking about the chemicals they're releasing. And what do you think about cloud seeding? And do you think that exists? Do you think that really happens? Does it happen? Where's it happen? Who's behind it? Who runs it? And who's discovering it? Also, what happened to the funding for scientists on certain things? So we'll be talking about that too. And, scientists, government pays a lot for that. And a lot of that's been cut out, especially about the climate control. A lot of those jobs have been cut out. Excuse me, Mountain Dew. So a lot of those jobs have been cut out, right? But why? It's nothing about being a Democrat, nothing about being a Republican. I've always said left wing, right wing, it's still the same bird. That's the United States of America. They want to keep us fighting. Otherwise, they wouldn't have made two different groups, right? That's just my opinion. You can call me whatever you want to call me, honey. I'll just add it to the list on here. I don't really care. Also, if you want to have some fun, here's a little quick bit, okay? If you want to have some fun, get your phone there and sit with Alexa and get her and Siri talking back and forth at each other. I'm telling you what, it's better than Days of Our Lives. Is Marlena still look the same on there? My goodness, I watched her when I was little, and I swear she looks the same as she did. I haven't watched her for over 2 years, but friends of mine do. I remember that Hourglass, and I was like, oh my gosh, Mom, do I really got to watch Days of Our Lives? But that came on before Mr. Cartoon did, and I was little, and but I'm telling you, it's still on there. I'm telling you, everybody has amnesia. Everybody's related to everybody. They don't find out. I mean, it's what we think that is a good thing to watch. I mean, I think you should focus on true stories. That's what I do. I don't do that drama anymore. I mean, why would I waste an hour of my life to watch the same nonsense I did when I was 8? I mean, that's just undeniably ignorant on my part. So I don't do that. I like true stories, and I don't watch one of the calls. Oh gosh, I would love to turn that phone on and let you all hear that, but I wouldn't want to embarrass anybody about what they say or anything. But Shirley was in here the other day, and she answered some calls, and oh my gosh, I don't know, and I don't care to talk to you guys. I spent my New Year's Eve, and I'm sure he would probably tell you, I spent my New Year's Eve from 11 until 2:30 talking a man out of harming himself. And I don't regret that. I wasn't missing out on anything. I was just sitting here with my dog, and I didn't think anything about it. And sometimes people just want somebody to talk to, and I always tell them I'm not a therapist, but I can refer you to one. But what I'm saying is sometimes people just want to talk. So if you have, I'm fond of the elderly. Who wouldn't be? If you have the luxury of meeting your great-grandparents, which I think this era doesn't even have that, because they used to grow their own food and ate, and I met my great-grandparents. Mama Morrison, Fanny's mom, she passed away at 99, and I think her husband, my great-grandfather, he passed away at 100 or 101. People don't live that long anymore. And then I posted that on today. When you turn 65 to get your Social Security, a lot of people don't make it to 65. So who gets that money you paid into all your life? And now they raise the age to 77 to retire. It's the purge. I'm telling you, that's my opinion. It is the purge. And I don't understand why people can't get that. I really don't understand that. I really don't. And but you'll get it when you get that age where you have that decision you have to make. When you have that decision you have to make about what you're going to do after you worked your whole entire life. Some people never, they always worked under the table. they get more money than I do on disability. That's none of my concern. But a lot of people do. Never turn anything, but if you get injured, you can get disability. But I understand that. And the taxes. There was a guy here years ago, and he never paid taxes. And he explained why. And he never got arrested for it. And I think he passed away. I think his first name was Paul. If somebody knows what his last name was, please enlighten me about that. I love listening to him. You pay property tax on the property you already bought. You pay everything on your house. The rain that comes off of out of the sky on your roof and goes into your ground, you pay for that. Then you pay for the water going down the street to the sewer. Okay, with all that money, why do we not have any infrastructure? Okay, and we also be talking about, again, I'm going to bring it up again, the $600,000 we got for that 3rd Street construction years ago, and it's now going on. Now, I'm going to tell you something. If you guys ever at a construction site, and I'm going to tell you this for a fact. I know this for a fact because I worked it. Anybody that you see working for ODOT, okay, male, female, young kids standing there flagging, making $50 an hour, they're all related to the people that worked there before. It's a family thing, honey, okay? You can't get somebody that's been in jail or anything like that, a job like that, right? Unless you know somebody. So whose kids that got a background in jail are making $50 an hour? Well, we're out here on food stamps and welfare trying to find a job, I've had people call, can I please cut your grass? And, thank God I have people to do that. But it's sad. It's just really sad. And it's pick and choose who you know, who you're related to. And, I'm not saying I don't do it. Somebody will call and say, hey, man, can you help me out? And I'll say, yeah, I know somebody. I'll make a call. And that's what I say. And that's what I do. You can't tell me it's illegal. Everybody does it, right? Quid pro quo. You do something for me, I'll do something for you. I seldom ask for anything in return, but that's the way it works. That's just the way it's always worked. And it'll continue to work like that. It will never change. I don't understand it. Also, I'm going to be talking about, maybe I better not talk about that. Okay. Oh, mercy sakes. Also, let me tell you something. A little quick bit. Give your dogs sardines once a week. That's why Keena's coat is so shiny. Sardines once a week, and blueberries and apples for their teeth. And also, a friend of mine from out in the country told me to put beef broth in a muffin pan, okay, and freeze it, and then give it to your dogs. My dogs love ice, and I just go through the kitchen, hit the ice maker, and just let it go on the floor. I don't care. I'm not here to impress anybody. Nobody's here but me, all right? And the dogs. And they love it. So put beef broth in a muffin pan and freeze it, okay? And then give them one of those. Let them go outside. That's what I'm trying to do. They love the pool, and Keena is just crazy about the pool. She'll just go out there and jump in, swim to the deep end, swim back, and then, she was afraid of it last summer. So everything changes. So now I got to watch that. So when I put the pool cover back on, she'll probably dig to find the water. If she's dug a hole back here, I've had to put rocks in so anybody wouldn't step in them at night. But it's a landmine out there, kids, in my yard. But if you think about jumping over the fence, you might want to have you a flashlight, because either they're out there or you're going to break your ankle, and then I'll find you, and then that won't be good. I'll just hog tie you until I call the popo. I'm playing, people. Don't get your jocks in a wad, okay? Anyway, so excited about art in high school. And also, the school board, like I said, I'm asking them, I've reached out a call. Everybody's busy, but I would like to know. And like I said, Captain Detective Brian Pauly's running for school board. I think he would be great. I never had a problem with Brian Pauly. And his daughter sang tonight down there at... from what I know, I couldn't stay that long. I don't do crowds real well anymore. Don't have any desire to. But just think about that. Think about some of the things. Think about if you just take 5 minutes. Let's try this exercise, okay? Take 5 minutes and just write down on a notebook paper and write it in cursive. Let's do another Bethris challenge. Have your kids write in cursive because they're not, everything's switched to just printing. So that's going to be a secret code one day. If everything's printing now and you're an adult, please continue to write in cursive because that's going to be, it's gone. I mean, it's gone. If you can't read cursive, how can you read the Constitution? So, it's just it's crazy things going on here, isn't it? We'll be talking about some local businesses here. That's going to be delving into some different things there. Hey, stop in that Port Cup down there on 3rd Street, right next to City Building. Oh my God, I posted a picture. I had this, I can't remember. It was called, it was orange and had foam on the top of it. Oh my God, it was like a dreamsicle. It was amazing. It was called Alani, something bomb. Anyway, go down there. They close at 2 p.m. Take your kids in there. They got a nice little area there with books and stuff, and they got a TV in there and regular seating, and it's real nice. Go in there and get one of those drinks. I thought it was coffee, so I had to go in there and find out for myself, but it's a really nice place. A friend of mine worked there, and I hadn't seen her for years, but stop in there. Also, I'm going to be heading down to Malini's. I'm trying to catch Ann and Rick, but they're always on the go. I like Malini's, but the bread fills me up. I can't, I don't have the biggest appetite like I used to. And one slice of pizza, my dear God, to feed a family. So I'll be heading down there next week. And like I said, I'm going to tell you one more time, I'll be interviewing Bill Dingus tomorrow at 1. And Chile, September 2nd at 3. We're going to be doing that over Zoom. He does have a warrant here, but I don't think that's the reason. He's in another state. He travels all over the country. So it's going to be pretty interesting, to say the least. So stay tuned. This is Bethris, WiTO Radio, the music you know, the station you love. And everybody, don't forget the sign contest. And if you have any questions, contact me or PM me or go to the 1230wito.com website and comment there. And I'll try to alert you when they alert me, okay? Bethris, God bless, WiTO, the music you know, the station you love. Ironton, Ohio. Have a good night.